The moving goalpost is a game where the rules change the second you start winning. Very sporty, very exhausting, terrible uniforms. It sounds like feedback. It feels like improvement. But the hidden goal is simple. Keep you chasing approval that never has to arrive. Here is the classic version. You do the thing they asked for. Suddenly, the real issue is something else. The finish line quietly puts on shoes. The loop is clean. Request, effort, almost approval, new requirement. Then the loop wears a little hat and calls itself growth. It hooks conscientious people because you think, maybe if I get this one exactly right, the tension will finally end. Watch the approval meter. In healthy feedback, effort changes the score. In a moving goalpost, effort only unlocks the next complaint. Healthy feedback has a stable target. It can say, here is what would help, and when you do it, the target does not teleport behind the sofa. Moving feedback has a haunted target. You reach it, it coughs politely, and now apparently the real problem is your tone, your timing, or your eyebrows. At work, it can look like this. Finish the task, then the standard changes. Not because the project changed, because praise would reduce control. In relationships, it sounds like if you cared, you would call more, so you call more. Then suddenly, if you cared, you would give me space. In families, it can sound like be more independent. Then when you are independent, why are you so distant? The seesaw has a manager. The trick works best when compliments are rationed. A tiny crumb of approval can make the next impossible standard feel worth chasing. Ask one question, what exactly would count as done? Not impressive, not better. Done. The word done is a little flashlight. Then write it down. Moving goalposts hate written targets because written targets do not politely forget what happened yesterday. This is why a simple checklist can feel powerful. Not because checklists are magic, because they make invisible rule changes look ridiculous. Before you spend effort, clarify the target. What result do you want? How will we know, and will that be enough? The phrase, will that be enough, sounds small, but it exposes the whole machine. If there is no answer, there may be no finish line. Important, not all changed feedback is manipulation. Sometimes new information appears. The pattern matters. Does the target keep moving only after you get close? A fair person can explain the new target, own the change, and give you a path. A control game just says not enough with jazz hands. If the new rule arrives with confusion, shame, and a fog machine, pause. Dr. Wiggle recommends not signing contracts inside fog machines. Defense 1, reflect the shift. Last time the target was X, now I am hearing why what changed. Defense 2, ask for a stable standard. Before I try again, I need to know what would count as complete. Defense 3, stop negotiating with fog. If the answer keeps changing, you are allowed to step out of the game. The cruel part is that you can get very good at a game that was designed to avoid giving you the trophy. The trap is attention. You spend all your attention predicting the next rule, and none of it asking whether you even want to play. Try this boundary. I can work toward a clear request. I cannot keep chasing a request that changes after I meet it. At work, say, to make sure I deliver the right thing, can we define the acceptance criteria before I start? In relationships, say, I want to understand the need. I also need it to stop changing every time I respond. In family conversations, say, I am willing to talk about one clear concern. I am not willing to do a surprise obstacle course. Expect guilt when you stop chasing. The other person may call your clarity stubborn. This is because clarity has ruined the carnival. Use the micro pause. When the target moves, do not sprint. Pause, name the shift, and ask for the new rule in plain language. Plain language is kryptonite here. What changed, what is expected now, and what would make this complete? Self-check. Do you feel like you are improving, or like you are auditioning forever for a role nobody intends to cast? If the standard changes 3 times in one conversation, congratulations. You are not in a discussion. You are in a haunted gym class. Repeat back the standard. So if I do X by Friday, that resolves this part. Correct. Let the sentence sit there with its little suitcase. If they refuse to define done, you have useful information. They may not want resolution. They may want motion. Permission slip. You do not have to earn love, respect, or basic fairness by completing an infinite side quest. Summary, changing rules, vague finish lines, and approval that vanishes when you arrive. If all 3 appear, the goalpost has legs. Practice line. I am open to feedback, but I need the goal to stay still long enough for me to actually respond. Question for the comments. Where have you seen the goalpost move most often? Work, dating, family, or the strange little committee inside your own head? Subscribe for more Dr. Wiggle case files. We make invisible games visible, then give them a tiny clipboard. Next lesson, the pity play. When guilt walks in wearing a sad little parade costume,